The main thing is to protect these characters. Make sure that they still continue to live in the way that you created them. And that the universe of Star Wars continues to grow.
Hello there, welcome back to my channel. My name is SkymanUniverse, and I'm sorry that there's been a little bit of a gap between me showing my face. The last time I did that was post The Rise of Skywalker with the review and what have you. But for me, at the moment, Star Wars has been feeling a little bit, what's the word? Dead. And not much has really been going on. I've seen The Rise of Skywalker twice now. And the second time was only because I got exceptionally cheap tickets. Rest assured I would not have gone to see that again and paid full price. No way. But like I said in the review, there were some things in there which I did enjoy and I found enjoyable to watch. But it is just so tarnished with its predecessor, The Last Jedi, and how the story just does not work in the grand scheme of things. And it wasn't intertwined to create a satisfying finale. It was just a complete mess, and in hindsight, when you look back at it's just a story that does not need to be told, and the Emperor does not need to come back. As much as I love Ian McDiarmid, and I loved seeing the Emperor made that movie for me, Rise of Skywalker, the Emperor and Kylo Ren, and a Luke Skywalker scene as well. But all that should have happened in the middle film. I feel like there should have been a climax to the end of this film, and the Emperor should have survived in The Rise of Skywalker and then been a finale at the end of it. That would have been really cool. But yeah, that's all over now, and now it's time to look on to better things in Star Wars and happier times. And this is where the Clone Wars perfectly fits into that for me. I know a lot of you have been watching The Mandalorian, but I've still not seen it because I don't have Disney Plus. As you all know, in England we don't get it until the 8th of March, which completely sucks, but it just shows a lack of sort of, I don't know what it is, but reality to the fans, and just completely segregating a massive part of the fan base, which I don't quite understand the logic there, but there we go. So I refuse to even watch it, you know, and because I just don't think it's right. So Star Wars, like I said, has just been, there's nothing to look forward to. After The Rise of Skywalker, it just seems eerily quiet and not much going on, and there's nothing to look forward to in the cinema. Like, Star Wars fundamentally to me has always belonged in the big screen. It's been the forerunner of cinema and should be way ahead of the superhero movies, but it's not. It's completely been obliterated from the inside, and bad, lousy decisions, and you keep going on and on about it. But Star Wars, I would say, isn't in an amazing place at the moment, and there's nothing to look forward to in terms of movies. I would love to add a Kenobi movie to look forward to. Rogue One really worked for me and many other people as well. It captured the Star Wars feel and essence. Sure, there was a load of, you know, I think there were political agendas slotted in there, but for the most part, that it felt very Star Warsy and respectful and loyal to previous Star Wars movies. But what they're creating now doesn't seem like that. And now, because they keep creating Star Wars movies with this sort of political agenda in mind, which just does not work, fit, nor does any fan want to hear about in Star Wars, now they're losing money at the cinema and realise they can make money in TV shows. But TV shows are just more convenient to watch, right? But it doesn't mean the quality is still going to be there. I think The Mandalorian works just because of how the character works. Like, it's mysterious. It doesn't need to be like these constant fast beats. There can be like space in between. Whereas if that was a movie, you can imagine the majority of moviegoers would be sitting there bored, because that's just how a lot of people consume movies now. They assume it just needs things chucked to them all the time, and you know, your concentration span is just, you know, wanting new things. It's probably where The Rise of Skywalker fits in, where it throws everything at you at once, and you're meant to understand and not really get what's going on. And Luke Skywalker, the Emperor, someone's back, and whoa, was that a good film? I don't know. So it's kind of like that approach. But the opposite side approach with The Mandalorian. So I don't really know how they're going to go about doing Kenobi. Kenobi, I really would have loved to have seen on the big screen and make that into a really great movie. But if you want to see the Kenobi thing, by the way, I made that Kenobi video It's the video for this. I'll pop in the link in the description if you want to watch that. The story, it's about 1 hour, 30 minutes long. Like, I did the whole thing. Like I said, there was music on there, and it's illustrated throughout, just to give you like an idea of scenes and things, and did voices and what have you. So maybe you want to check it out. I don't know. Maybe you don't. But yeah, I'm going to sidetrack, as I always bloody do. I'm here for the Clone Wars, and to sort of regain and re-spark my sort of, I won't say childhood, I won't say teenage years, but certainly my maybe early 20s, and was it my late teens? I can't remember. But it's kind of crazy if you think about it. The Clone Wars for us has really been going on for over 10 years. Now, that's a long time. We've been in that Clone Wars battle, really. And the series, well, the Clone Wars in between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith was 3 years. I think it was 3 years. So, like, for us, it's been a long war and a long journey and a long time to get to know these characters. So for me, there's many things which I'm really hoping to see in this. And I'll give you my quick things that I want to see just before you watch this. I love that moment just before you watch the trailer where you know absolutely nothing. I mean, we've seen a preview before, but I'm hoping to see a lot more of Anakin Skywalker. I love the way he's developed, and he always looks more and more like Revenge of the Sith Anakin Skywalker. This one is where he's going to be like spot on Anakin from Revenge of the Sith, I'd imagine. So with that, you expect certain characteristics and traits like Darth Vader traits to slip more in, like they subtly did in the Clone Wars. And then it became apparently obvious that Anakin really has his dark side, and I love that, because as a Star Wars fan, you sort of associate, not saying you associate with all the bad things, but for me, it was always easy to follow Anakin, and it was always my favourite, along with Obi-Wan Kenobi as well. I want to see a lot of Obi-Wan. Those two are the team, basically, are the two main that I want to see, main people that I want to see. And I want to see, like, interactions. I loved it when they always go on their adventures, like the bounty hunter arcs and things, and it was always complicated relations, but there was that sort of, you saw that brotherhood between Anakin and Obi-Wan. That was very endearing. General Grievous, I really hope there's a good General Grievous episode in here somewhere, just to see him like come in and hopefully make some like iconic coughing quotes or something like that. But yeah, Ahsoka, of course, I'm looking forward to seeing Ahsoka. There's something that which I watched, I think it was a premiere, I can't remember what premiere it was, if it was The Rise of Skywalker, but they did a poll of who you're most looking forward to seeing. It must have been The Rise of Skywalker for in the Clone Wars, and it was like Obi-Wan, Anakin, General Grievous, or someone, Ahsoka, and they all really, Lucasfilm were like, oh, you know, obviously it's Ahsoka, but like the top scorer was Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I thought that was absolutely brilliant. And it just goes to show, for me, just subtle things like that, how sort of slightly out of tune Lucasfilm seem to be with what they're creating, thinking people want these things. But like I said, like, I'm a massive Anakin Obi-Wan fan. Like, I want them to forefront the Clone Wars, and hopefully that's kind of going to be a thing. And Ahsoka obviously has her episodes in there. I love Ahsoka too, but just not as much, if that makes sense. Those are my two, because that, the prequels and that relationship, I wanted to take me back. I'm just heavily relying on this to bring me back some goddamn bloody Star Wars nostalgia to get me into Star Wars again and save something and light some spark, which would light the fire, which would burn the spark of Rian Johnson's trilogy, or whatever. Yeah, so without any further ado, let's watch this. And Darth Maul, I really want to see more Darth Maul, because I know he's in it. So, yeah. Here we go. 9 minutes in, and here we go. Well, it could be less if I've edited me out.
Soon, the galaxy
Darth Maul
will be
straight away.
remade.
Deep.
The Jedi
That looks pretty
and
awesome.
Republic will die.
I love Darth Maul so much.
I sense a plot to destroy the Jedi.
Mace has always sensed some things, but never does anything about it.
Great care we must take.
Why would anyone walk away from being a Jedi?
She's a Disney character.
We were trained to be
Kathleen Kennedy.
keepers of the peace, not soldiers.
Oh, visually, this looks so good.
We
That's
clones have mixed feelings about the war. Without it, we wouldn't exist.
of the plan. The plan.
Oh.
Is about to change.
That looks so good. As Red Led Media would say, Vistas. That's good.
Every choice made has led to this.
That looks so good. There's a lot of Darth Maul in it. I'm very happy. I'm very happy with that. That just makes me feel like how it was when I first watched Clone Wars, or say like season 3 when I really got into it, and yeah, it makes me feel good to actually see Star Wars characters in a Star Wars environment during the era which I love the most, which is like the prequel era, and that's what I grew up with. So to see that again kind of makes me feel quite nostalgic, but not in a way that's utilizing it to try and make you watch something and to trick you into watching something, which is nothing like that whatsoever, and then completely pisses on all the characters. This is nostalgic because this is only about those characters, which I love, and that's a good sign. I didn't think that we'd see so much of Darth Maul in that. That was really good. Something I noticed there with Darth Maul, and when he ignites his lightsaber, like half of it's a Phantom Menace lightsaber, and the other half is like a new one which he's created or something like that. That looks pretty awesome. But what's even more awesome about that is that Ray Park himself came in, and I think he did like motion capture or something like that. So the duel is gonna have like the essence of Ray Park in it, and that's gonna be great for Darth Maul because you're gonna see those moves and twirls, and it's gonna convey the character more. So it's gonna be really cool and interesting to see that and how it comes across in the Clone Wars. Something I didn't know, like Ahsoka and Maul had like this thing. I know in Rebels there was a little bit of something going on there, but for me, I would have obviously loved to have seen Obi-Wan Kenobi duel Maul for like one last time in the Clone Wars. But I mean, I know they've dueled like endlessly, and perhaps the tension is not there anymore. But that would have been good. Like Darth Maul and Obi-Wan sort of belong in this sort of the destinies always intertwine, but always clash, but sort of neither, there's never a conclusion type thing until, in Rebels. But he looks so awesome. I think there's going to be quite a lot of Mandalore put into this. And I didn't really get a bad vibe from like any filler episodes. Perhaps there could be one. And like I said before, with Disney sort of inserting their agenda in there, or characters, so I could always like get a sense for it now. Like with certain characters, oh yeah, obviously Lucasfilm have created that character like that. And that girl like with the hair bouffant thing that comes out the front, I get that same vibe from her. So I hope that's not going to be like one of those episodes where it's just, all whammon or something like that, which is like really in your face and takes you out of it, because, I don't want anything in these series to just remind me of how Star Wars is being made at the moment. I'm just hoping so much that this is just going to feel like a Star Wars story, like classic stuff with Anakin, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka. I hope Asajj Ventress even gets in there as well, or Bounty Hunter, something like that. There's got to be like a lot of secret things which I missed in here. If they're following the previous drafty type episodes which got released, I don't know how many years ago, but where Cad Bane and Boba Fett have a standoff, I hope that that's kind of gone silent, so it makes people forget about that, and then, I'll just remind you, so apologies, and then that actually gets shown into this series where they actually have their final standoff, and that would be really cool to see. And so hopefully there's a lot of surprises in there. It's Dave Filoni, so there's got to be like tons of surprises. That guy is the prodigy of George Lucas, and I always said like the suitable candidate for the head of Lucasfilm. Like, someone give that man a goddamn position right high up there to make good decisions like this. What he's done with Clone Wars and all the actors and voice actors and everything are just amazing. Like, it feels completely like Star Wars. It's built upon all the stories, and it's created this rich tapestry of Star Wars, basically, and it's expanded so much to so many different places. It made it seem amazing and endless, and you just don't want it to end. Now compare that with the sequels. What they did was made the galaxy feel very small, uninteresting, boring. No good characters in there that you want to relate to. There's nothing interesting going on. You didn't have a clue what was going on. It was just all over the place. And that's just an era which as much I would like to get myself into, I've never got into it. It's just always been prequels and originals. And then after the Emperor was defeated, then that was like kind of the end of Star Wars for me. Because now we've seen the Rise of Skywalker, there's not a good enough reason to make you feel interested that it's all going to happen again, in the sequels. It's like there wasn't a story in there which was better than the story previously. It could have been, and there was a lot of potential for it to be, but it just didn't happen for the sake of political agendas and bad storytelling decisions made in Lucasfilm, which didn't need to happen, was unnecessary for Star Wars, basically. And now the damage has been done, and I think I get this growing sense of this sort of feeling of abandoned ship at the moment, where the Rise of Skywalker has just gone very quiet. And this is unprecedented for a Star Wars movie. Usually this goes on for ages and everyone's got the buzz still. Like when I watched Revenge of the Sith, I don't know how many times I watched that, along with The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones. Like Phantom Menace, I must have watched that 10 times at the cinema. It was the first movie I ever saw at the cinema, and it was the one that I've always just been mesmerised with. And I've never had that feeling of Star Wars, like pure excitement when I want to go back. I've had this sort of Star Wars buzz, just fingers crossed, hoping that it could be something like that. But it's never ended up like that. The Rise of Skywalker, my expectations were so rock bottom that I just was not expecting anything good, because of The Last Jedi completely tricked us into thinking it was going to be something good, and we were all tricked. So that's the power of trailers as well. So hopefully there isn't a trick in this trailer, which I have no reason to believe why there should be, because I think that Dave Filoni is very respectful of Star Wars fans, what they want. He listens to what they want. I bet he watches some trailer reactions as well, just to gauge what's going on, because that man understands the fans, and while he's creating something with them in mind, something new and interesting as well. And he combines these things together, which is how I'd imagine George Lucas would do it as well. And if you imagine, is that how Disney would do it? Or Disney Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy's Lucasfilm? I don't think so. But yeah, what did you think about this trailer? Were there certain bits in there which you liked, and certain characters that you're looking forward to see? Mine, of course, is just Anakin. And there better be a scene in there where General Grievous and Obi-Wan Kenobi meet, and they could say hello there, and he could be like, General Kenobi, you are a bold one, or something good like that. That scene where Anakin ignites his lightsaber with that spider commander, separatist commander, tarantula guy, you'd get the impression that he's going to go like Mustafar separatist attack on him and everyone on the bridge there. So that's kind of dark and interesting. Also heard somewhere that read that these Clone Wars, I wish it was movies, Clone Wars episodes were going to have this more adult feel, perhaps even made for adults. So I'd be very interested to see if that's like true and they stick by that, because the Clone Wars has always had a massive response and interest with adults and things, because it's so amazing. It's great Star Wars. And also Obi-Wan Kenobi there, where he's like holding his lightsaber with all the mist and all that really beautiful cinematography behind him, or as Red Letter Media would say, the vistas. That was really cool. There's like the Clone Wars has always gone up in terms of visual effects. Like there's always been an improvement, and it continues to get better. And this, you could see it again. It's just gone up another notch, another level, which is really cool and a testament to the creators there. One little gripe that I have though, and I've noticed this all the time, it's just a tiny thing which takes me on a bit. What the bloody hell has happened? Oh my god. 2 gripes. I've just realised this comes out in February. Oh my god. And Disney Plus does not come out in England until March the 10th or something? What the bloody hell? Seriously, what the bloody hell? Are you kidding me? They're saying, what the bloody hell? You can't watch the Clone Wars until March. What the freaking hell are they thinking? Why have they... What? Oh my god, man. Oh, I can't even remember what I was going to say. I just got really annoyed about that. Like, obviously there are ways to watch it, but I just don't quite understand that. Like, why is a massive part of the audience being segregated here? And it just makes no sense whatsoever. Like, obviously there's ways to watch it, but for goodness sake, man, what a lousy decision. Anyway, I remember what I was going to say. Keep calm. And yeah, so the other gripe now is just a tiny thing with the font of the Star Wars new font and things. Like, why has it changed? Like, I don't want anything to remind me of the sequels, and that crappy font, which I always thought was crap, they used in the sequels, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker. I don't think they used it in Rogue One, maybe in Solo, I'm not sure, but this crappy font has made its return again in the words in between the scenes and things. Just something like that just takes me out of it. It's just such a lame font. And what was wrong with the classic Star Wars font? It should be the classic Star Wars fonts for the Star Wars movies. It's like trying to be original and create their own thing, and this is Disney Lucasfilm's mark by just changing this font or something, so we know that this was made in this era. But it wasn't. Clone Wars, these ideas were made in the Lucasfilm prime time, and you don't need to remind it, and don't need to put their like seal of approval on there. It's only because I guarantee that if the Star Wars movies, which they made, did exceptionally well, that the Clone Wars probably wouldn't even had a sniff. They're just doing this to sort of regain momentum and popularity of Star Wars, because it's in a terrible space right now. Pardon the pun. So yeah, something simple like that. Maybe I'm reading far too much into that, but that's just what I think there. Change the font back to Star Wars, please. Like the Star Wars font, that would be really nice, and so it feels like Star Wars and looks like Star Wars. Even like with the sequels as well, I was always just taking, like, I would enjoy the trailers to begin with, and then that font would come, and I'm like, that's not Star Wars. It doesn't feel like a Star Wars thing, and it just takes me out of it momentarily. That's just a tiny gripe, which I have that. Apart from that, everything looks perfect. There's a lot of things which I'm looking forward to in there. But like I said, write everything that you're looking forward down below, and concerns that you may have. But come on, it's Dave Filoni, so you trust him. I'm pretty sure you do. I trust him as well, and what he and Jon Favreau have done with the Mandalorian. Everyone's very positive about that. So yeah, this is like Dave Filoni at his best, creating something good, and I just only hope that the Clone Wars can just continue somehow. I've always liked the Clone... Oh my goodness, I keep talking, I'm so sorry. But I've always liked the Clone Wars format, the style of it, and I think that I've always preferred that 10 times more than Rebels. Like, I like Rebels, it had some good moments in it, but I cannot deny that it was greatly relying on nostalgia and characters which we loved, but I've always just been glued to the Clone Wars and enjoyed that 10 times more. I found that more interesting. There's more room for development for certain things. And yeah, that's just me anyway. But hopefully, yeah, Clone Wars somehow is continued. And I hope there's going to be a lot of episodes in this. I think it was like 12 or something, which isn't too much. But hopefully there are 12 amazing episodes, and they're going to be long as well. Anyway, that was my trailer reaction. I hope you enjoyed it. My name is SKYMAN UNIVERSE. If you have not joined us on our channel already, then we hope you do, and subscribe to our channel. Here we talk a lot of Star Wars. And if you're already subscribed, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed the trailer reaction. Like I said, it could only be a video which I made just before this one. The link will be down below. So take care of yourself, and remember, the Force will be with you. See you in the comments. Always.